remember. Tip the Wookiee bartenders 20%. No droid spy hunters. No Raylos. No Ray Nobodies. No sequel trilogy fans of any kind. Yeah, pretty much. So today was interesting. I started out with doing a video on John Boyega's reaction to basically being in Star Wars and the interview that he did with Variety, which was a pretty interesting, far-reaching interview. Not Variety, Vanity Fair. Let me explain. Vanity Fair used to be a magazine that you had to read. Okay, I used to get it all the time. It used to be really full of interesting anecdotes and stories and news. Hello, who is this? Hey, just some other guy and other things. And I'm not wearing my glasses right now, so if I don't quite answer you right away on chat, it's because I look like a friggin' owl, okay? And it's easier for me to just do this and then do the glasses back and forth. But it's, you know, Vanity Fair used to be, I think, the magazine of record as far as entertainment, Hollywood, the culture is concerned. It was really an intellectually superior literary thing. Now it's fucking People magazine, okay? But they did a pretty good job with John Boyega. He did complain about racism with the fans, but I think I can't imagine the conversation he had with Kathy Kennedy. You treated me blah, 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 in China, blah, blah, blah. That was the fans. I could see her doing that. I could see her not taking responsibility for the way that Rian Johnson treated him, JJ, and other people at Lucasfilm. Hey, just Mike. Well, let me get to that, okay? And I think that he basically just spewed the status quo, but he knows, I think. It wasn't the fans who did it. It was Lucasfilm. It was the media, and they created a hostile environment. Okay, now, if they had been honest, saying, TFA sucks, why'd you do that to Han Solo, Harrison Ford deserves better, and why the fuck was, Mark Hamill in the last 30 seconds of the movie, and Carrie, what that, if they'd have been, because look, I know enough people in Hollywood to know that very powerful people were asking those questions after The Force Awakens. Okay, then you get to TLJ and they were like, it's really great, what the fuck, So, you got John Boyega trying to play the ball, but the subtext of what he said about the nostalgia of TFA and the fact that the fans deserve more time with their heroes translates to me, the subtext is, you treated Han, Luke, and Leia like shit. You didn't give them the happy ending they deserved, and the fans are pissed off because of this. And oh, by the way, this wasn't Star Wars. Let's talk about tokenizing me now. Okay, I think that was the subtext of that. Because he did bring up treating Mark Hamill like shit. But then he also added the fans deserved more time with their heroes, with those characters. Basically repeating everything that everybody has said in various states of anger since the piece of shit trilogy came out. Fast forward to today. So I did my video, and then Rian Johnson drops this thing about, he's talking about doing a deep dive into The Last Jedi. All right, let me explain something. He's doing PR for Glass Onion, which is the sequel to Knives Out. Yeah, he is walking a fine line. If you guys could hit the likes, that'd be great. And they were going to bring up Star Wars because, look, Rian Johnson plus Star Wars equals clickbait. Okay, so that's why this happened. All right, deep dive, and it's going to be in Empire magazine. I can't wait to read this piece of shit, and you know I'm gonna, so you don't have to, and it'll be free on the internet, so I will. In the article that I put in the description of this, he's crying about, oh, you know, before I made movies and I only got like one negative comment. And then after they came after me, blah, blah. You go, fuck you. Okay? Every one of us who sat through TLJ knew you were fucking with us. What he did to Mark Hamill, and I'm not happy with Mark. He's batshit crazy, but I would never do that to a human being. I would never do that to a fellow human being. And what he did to Mark, who is this? Oh, hi, Cross Element. I would never do that to Mark or anybody because I hate this. I hate this. I don't think that way. I don't want to treat people like shit. And he did treat Mark Hamill like shit. He also treated Carrie Fisher like shit. I'm going to say this right now. She was not doing well when they made The Last Jedi. Okay. The Del part when she was in a coma. It's because Carrie was sick. Okay. And yeah, well, I mean, yeah. I mean, he is a little goblin. And I'm like, dude, go away. Seriously. Well, yeah, she said he was an asshole, and he is an asshole. You know, Carrie Fisher was probably the most honest person in Hollywood. Stop it, Kojak. He wants to go out. He's been out. I'm not letting him out till I'm done. And that'll be in about half hour. So when Carrie Fisher called him an asshole, in fact, I'm going to have Baz. I'm going to have Basil, Baz, Baze. Yeah, I see you back there, dude. Cut that out because I'm going to use it in a video about this. He treated the original cast like shit that was left over. Well, I'm gonna say this. He's saying this shit. What can Bob Chapek be saying? I mean, if you're Bob Chapek and you're kind of trying to guide the Titanic away from the iceberg, and one of the icebergs keeps coming at you and you can't get away with it, that's what this is. Stop it, Kojak. I'm not letting you out, you little dickhead. Lay down. And he's fine. I mean, don't worry about him. No one's mean to him. He's the biggest spoiled brat on the planet. I'm literally like, the only reason why they brought up The Last Jedi with this is to get people to read their fucking, it's clickbait. This is clickbait. But the thing that bothers me, it's gonna rile the usual suspects, Nerdrotic, Ryan Cannell, you know, G&G, Doomcock, everybody. And it's like, oh, fuck. This is bullshit. And then they brought up his trilogy, which is like non-existent anymore. And of course he's going to say something about that, which is going to set the flames off. Here are, you know, I can imagine Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni going, what the fuck? I disagree with you, just some other guy. You gotta start thinking before you think about what you're saying. All right, think about that. It's not that simple. It really isn't. I mean, look, the parks are doing great. It's Lucasfilm, Marvel, Pixar, and Disney Studios that aren't. Okay, there you go. ESPN's doing great. And when the NFL, kicks off, they're going to be doing even better. But my thing is, what is the motivation for this? First off, it's clickbait. All right, this is Rian Johnson, clickbait. Second of all, it's Empire Magazine, who probably thinks, oh, the rest, Last Jedi was brilliant. I just loved it. And I mean, like as George Lucas said, it's very pretty. I'm sure he was vomiting in his seat when he saw what they did to Luke. Okay. Because look, if you fuck with Luke, you're fucking with George. All right, because Luke Skywalker, his name comes from Lucas. All right, and they all knew it. Look, I'm going to tell you something. There are a lot of people in the film industry that hate him because of the money he made. They don't have any idea how he made that money. They don't care. Okay, all they see is a guy with $10 billion, and they don't have it, right? And they don't think it's fair. They don't realize that, some people get lucky. Some people create a cog that's never ever been seen before, and the public wants it and buys it, and they make a lot of money. And look, as a voracious, ravenous capitalist, I'm like, good, cool, good going, dude. But there are people out there that look at themselves and say that's not fair. And I really think that Rian Johnson is one of them. As far as J.J. Abrams is concerned, he's one of those people that doesn't even know what he's doing. Okay? Look, the guy's on his last legs. Okay? He had a show on Apple TV canceled, and now he had his Batman animated series canceled. Okay? At Warner Brothers. He is about ready to go back to independent film and trying to raise his own money. Now, I'm going to say this guy has enough money to start his own production company, and he does have one. It's called Bad Robot. He's going to have to start doing his own shit. All right? Batman and Rian Johnson, I was talking about J.J. Abrams at the moment, but okay. And then we got Rian Johnson, who, look, there are Reddit stories about him and his friends going to a bar and getting trashed off their asses, trolling people on Twitter and Reddit and other, social media sites for hating their movies. Okay, so this guy, look, anybody who could professionally look at himself and say, I am a film director and I own a production company, and then he does that to a venerable star like Mark Hamill, like Carrie Fisher, is not a mature or he's not well in the head, let's put it that way, and he's not mature at all. Okay, what the hell? Sorry. All right, just a second, guys. You're looking at a bag. I did not. Okay, there we go. There. Hi, I'm back. I have to take that upstairs. Yeah, you saw a lot of stuff on the table, and but no, he's the guy is not. Yeah, it was. I had to do that. He's not well in the head. Okay. And these are people that could not have survived you know, back in late 1960s, early 70s Hollywood. I mean, I'm pretty sure Robert Evans would have chased him out of his office with a whip. Get the fuck out of here. Both him and J.J. Abrams. Because, you know, guys like that understood creatives. Okay. And neither of these two clowns could come close to Coppola or Roman Polanski, who I think is a scumbag, and Sam Peckinpah and the rest of these people. Okay, they're not of that class. Those guys were geniuses, are geniuses. These two are troglodytes. They're losers. Well, I don't know what you're talking about, David, but whatever. Hey, Dave, how you doing? I don't understand what Starlight is. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just talking about the things I know. And right now I think Bad Robot's in such a bad spot that it's not gonna happen. But I don't know what you're talking about. KK's studio? She doesn't have a studio. She's got look, KK and JJ don't like each other. Where did you get that idea? Okay. JJ doesn't like Rian Johnson. Okay. JJ, from what I've heard, was so pissed off that you know, what they were doing to well, basically the Raylo shit, they basically said to Bob Iger, this movie is written by Lucasfilm and Disney. All right, he was mad. I mean, he doesn't yell, but I believe that. I think that was a Reddit rumor, and I believe it. You look, when you've got people who love the sequels that hated The Rise of Skywalker, putting that shit out, you know, no, look, again, listen to me. I don't know what Starlight is. I don't know if you made that up. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Kathy Kennedy is only connected to the Kennedy Marshall Company. That's it. You go on her IMDb page, that's all there's on there right now. Okay, so I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, maybe you're making this up, I don't know. So, and I think you're probably drunk. Oh, it was troubled. You know, he was right. I mean, it was, yeah, I mean, look, you could tell Harrison Ford broke his foot. And I love Carrie's reaction to it. It's like there was silence. And then her reaction to when they were getting ready to do some stuff and she heard him walking down the hallway in those boots and she was like, you know, all those memories came back. And I loved it, watching her talk about that. He was like, yeah. And I think he blames himself for stuff that he wasn't responsible for. Yeah, it was why the making of book was canceled. I mean, you know, well, don't do out of the box thinking here. We're not Doomcock, okay? We don't, you know, I am so mad at him right now. Oh my God. Because I take actual things that people have actually really said, okay, and things that have actually happened, and extrapolate what I think is going to happen in the future. That's how you do intelligence work, and basically doing. Dave Pensac, do you want to do something about this? Thanks. You know, you can't just say, oh, well, the rumor, blah, blah, blah. Fuck that shit. You know, my dog is rumored to be the king of Siam. I mean, that's how, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? But now we have actual news. Now we have actual news. He's drunk, by the way, because he's not listening and he's being an asshole. And that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about, oh, somebody picked up a script and said blah, blah, blah. It's like, what the fuck? Do you believe that? Do you know who this is? At least, WDW Pro actually verifies who he's talking to before he actually reports something. Okay. Hi, Kojak. Hi, baby. Hey, buddy bear. You have to lay down now, okay? We're gonna go upstairs pretty soon, okay? It's to me, it's unfathomable the way people are right now. I mean, we get John Boyega basically saying the sequels trilogy sucked without saying the sequel trilogy sucked. He said that in a Vanity Fair article. Now we've got Rian Johnson basically retaliating and basically going, I'm going to do a deep dive into TLJ for Empire magazine. And it's like, this is clickbait, and I know the usual suspects are going to run with it. He's got his sequel, he's got his trilogy, Star Wars is dead, all the bullshit, to get, because, look, a lot of these people, the only money they make is off of YouTube. Get a job. Get a job. I mean, just get a fucking job. And then stop. It's one thing to sit around and discuss pop culture, okay, and have fun doing it, and, be connected and stuff, and actually try to extrapolate what's going to happen next. It's another, thing to actually make your living off of it and start, pulling fruit that's not even ripe off a tree because you need clicks. Just because the rent is due. It's like, stop it. Just fucking stop it, So let's get back to Rian Johnson. So he's doing an interview and did an interview, obviously, Empire magazine, with the interviews probably about Glass Onion, and yeah, that's exactly what they're doing, and it's like, no, they're utilizing weekly world news tactics. It's like, really, guys. My head hurts now just thinking about that. It's like, I just, no. Look, if I didn't hear it, I have to think about it, and then I have to go back to what we know. Peter Rice got fired. Kenobi numbers come into Disney. Kennedy goes on vacation because she also knows that Bob Chapek has got another 3 years to fix what's broken. She goes on 40 days vacation, and none of these people talk about it. They don't talk about the significance. No one in her position does that. Okay? No one. Steven Spielberg can't do that. This was retirement. Yeah, and that You know, it's not even that. It's, you know, asking people to look at me, look at me, and look at me. And here's something that somebody sent me. You know, I don't know, you know, but we know that Rian Johnson said this, that there's going to be a interview with him on in Empire Magazine. He's going to do a deep dive into The Last Jedi, you know, and this is retaliation for what John Boyega said. Because John Boyega basically squashed all of them like a grape. Look, he spoke in code, but everybody who read that article, Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, Billy Lord, and Billy D. Williams, all of these people read that and knew what he was saying. You fucked the franchise over. Disney, Kathy, JJ, Ryan, and all the writers. You people did that. You didn't listen to the fans. The fans wanted you. He basically was saying what we were saying. Rian Johnson is going to do this deep dive to defend himself. Which, it's like, don't talk about it. Stop talking about it. Just stop about it. Stop it. Okay? Because you're making it worse. You know? It's like I scratch my head and go, what would make him want to talk about it? Clickbait. So people, you know, watch his movie. I'm not going to watch his movie. To me, Knives Out looked stupid. A great cast. And, you know, whatever. But I don't want to see it. I don't care. Why? Because it's not something I want to watch. Look, there are directors out there that should make little art films. Okay? And that's true. Oh, yeah, he did. He roasted the sequels. When he said that about Mark Hamill, and then he said the fans deserved more time with their favorites and their favorite characters. Translated to, you people disrespected these guys. The fans noticed, okay? And now, all right? And he was right. He was basically, and I think he balanced out that racist bullshit that he was spewing with the, hey, fucking hey, you fucked up. And he was right. Look, he noticed the way Samuel L. Jackson was treated, and Billy D. Williams. All right, John Boyega was the one that was tokenized. They weren't. There's a difference. Yes, he would crush Rey like a bug. Obi-Wan would have crushed Rey like a bug. And it's like, look, he's basically saying the fans were right. You people fucked up. And I'm not coming back to Star Wars. Which means none of them are. Now, why is that? Why is Rian Johnson retaliating right now, which is exactly what this is? I know why. Because I think Doomcock actually does have information that is good. And it is, they are resetting the timeline. And they all know it. And John Boyega is like, you fucked up. This is our legacy. And Rian Johnson is trying to protect it. And that's what's going on here. There is no money in the sequel trilogy. And don't bother telling me, though they spent so much money and invested. They didn't get anything for it. They wouldn't get anything for it. They wouldn't get anything for what I'm saying is, The money they invested, they got nothing back. They lost money. Okay. When I look at, we can average, I mean, if Valiant Renegade was here, he could explain this very well. But if you look at how much money the movies cost to make, and then you add on the marketing, which is about half the budget. So that's, I think, about $400 million. Okay. Then you add theatrical run and the different averages across the globe about what theaters are allowed to take. The movies maybe netted, and I'm going to tell you this. If you're reading Forbes, if you're reading any of these rags, they will give you the gross box office. They won't give you the net box office, which is what Disney gets to take home. Disney probably took home from all 5 movies maybe $1.52 billion. They spent $6 billion on buying Lucasfilm. They probably invested not only in Lucasfilm, the buyout, but the parks, probably $10 billion. David Walker? No. I don't know what you're talking about. Close to 7 what? 7 o'clock at night? Close to 7 what? No, I don't. Look, dude, you put shit out there with no context. All right? 7 billion what? Dogs, cats, rats? Disney invested probably about $10 billion. I don't know where you got this 7 billion from. You're obviously not talking to somebody that actually knows what they're talking about. Okay, Disney invested about $10 billion in Lucasfilm, and they got $2 billion back. That's a loss. No, it's not. $10 billion is not close to 7. So, no, it's not. It's just a big red X. They lost, let's see, $8 billion? They could have put the money that they invested in the bank and would have 12 billion, 14 billion by now, just sitting there, liquid assets. It didn't turn out the way they thought it would. And the reason why is because the decision making by Bob Iger, Alan Horn, who sadly is now running around with David Zasloff at WB. You better hope David Zasloff goes, that's okay, Alan. You go sit over in the corner and eat your tapioca. And Kathy Kennedy, all right? Oh, I think we have more movies ahead of us instead of behind us. We should do the sequel trilogies from the parks. It's like, and they can sit there and say the parks are successful. They're not. They're not. I mean, a lot more people will be a lot happier walking through Galaxy's Edge and actually seeing a round sensor dish on the Falcon and seeing a 7'3" Wookiee working on it. Maybe a guy you wouldn't have to hire cast members to be there all the time. All right. Weekends, you could have Han Solo show up. A guy that actually looks like him. Luke Skywalker. Hey, Mazarus. All right, what? What are you saying, buddy? Oh, well, Maze, I think you're right. But with John Boyega's statements about how bad the sequel trilogy was, I think this is retaliation. Okay, because look, we know that John was treated like shit. And Rian Johnson was one of those people. I mean, the fact that Boyega basically came out and defended Mark Hamill, Harrison, and Carey. And the fans, by the way, okay, this is retaliation. Well, you know, Rian Johnson is the kind of guy who thinks he's an auteur. I'm up there with John Ford. Yeah, you are, Sparky, in your dreams. Oh, yeah. I mean, Maze is right on there. I mean, when you think about, look, when we're told we're racists, now you think about the popular characters in the original trilogy. Lando Calrissian. He was the Judas who was redeemed. Everybody loves Billy D. Williams. What have they done to him? Pansexual robot lover. Disgusting. Okay? They basically tokenized him. You know what that is? That's black men are over sexualized, so that's what we're going to do. That's John Kasdan and Larry Kasdan. Okay, that's them saying that. With Mace Windu, they haven't said anything. And I'm pretty sure that if they tried to do something sick like that to Samuel L. Jackson, he would kill them. All right, he would not tolerate that. These two are some of the most important characters in the franchise, and people love them. Fans everywhere love them. Why did they tokenize John Boyega? Because we have a bunch of left-wing racists running Lucasfilm, running around Hollywood, telling, I mean, when I think about it, George Lucas created a character that basically won a mayorship, a mining colony, all right? He was a gambler, a card sharp, a scoundrel. Okay, he created this man. He happened to be black. It didn't matter if he was black, you know, to the fans. When you think of it, does it matter? No. And it didn't matter when we saw that. He never mattered to anybody. But with these people, Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams, it mattered. So they take Finn, who's a unique character, a black stormtrooper, and then turn him into a janitor, and then cut him off from the main part of the plot because of Reylo. Flat-chested, mousy girl, and a guy that looks like a mule screwed a rat. Okay, there you go. I mean, okay, that's it. That's why, because they thought they were going to get popular and praise for Reylo. And what happened is the fans got pissed. Okay, so then when they have to go back, and this is after Solo came out and they cut Han and turned Lando into a pervert, and then, look, the novels make it worse. Okay? The novels make it worse. Okay? They get into The Rise of Skywalker. They don't go all the way with Reylo. They kill him in the end. Thank God. You know, but still, Finn is running around, Rey, and she's off chasing the guy who should have been her brother, for Christ's sakes. I mean, the whole point of Star Wars is completely missed from these people, because instead of writing a good story, they went on Twitter and said, oh, this is the trend. Notice what about Rey? The fact that she's flat-chested and mousy? I say that about Amelia Clark. I think she's ugly. Don't even get me started about the new girl and the House of the Dragon. That girl looks like a 12-year-old boy. She looks like a, how do I say this? Special needs 12-year-old boy. She's weird looking. And I don't care who knows I said that. How hard is it to find a beautiful blonde actress? It can't be that difficult. You know, but no, they chose the ugliest woman one of the ugliest women I have ever seen. No, you don't hear Forrest Whitaker complaining about Rogue One. You don't. You don't. You only hear John Boyega. And the reason why is because they did him dirty. And it was Bob Iger's decision and Kathy Kennedy going, okay, Bob, that's all do. You know. And Rian Johnson, look, he can sit there and say he's not a racist, blah, 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 but he's one of the biggest fucking racists I have ever seen. It is not what you say is what you do. What he did to John Boyega is disgusting. Okay? Look, you treat people, here's the deal. When you stop caring about shit like that, then everything's equal. Okay? When you stop caring about people's race, about their faith, about where they put their dick, or whatever, it stops to matter, okay? You know, oh yeah, Grief Karga. Trust me, if anybody tried to screw with him, Apollo Creed, man, I love that guy. He said something funny. If you go back and look at the behind the scenes stuff and that roundtable discussion, and they had him on, he was talking about it, and he basically said, I'm glad I'm working with you guys because I don't trust a whole lot of people in Hollywood anymore. He was right. It was Star Wars Direct. I have a link in the description if you want to read the article. And the story is actually going to be in Empire Magazine next month. Look, they're doing a big PR thing for Glass Onion, which is the latest Knives Out thing. I'm not going to watch it. I don't care if it's good or not. Fuck him. And his mother. Oh yeah, and Maze is right on that one too. Again, my thing, and it is trash. Here's my thing. If we had gotten a soft handoff, Luke's lightsaber to his niece or his nephew, Han handing his blaster, gun rig, and the Falcon, and Chew's co-pilot Shep to his son, the brother of the girl that gets the lightsaber, everybody would have been like happy. That's the way you do Star Wars. It's about legacy. It's about family. We got nothing. These people. Is this what we get now because people were raised in broken families? Is that it? I'm confused now. But I am going to say this, and then I'm going to go because I got to clean up my kitchen. Basically, I got a bomb dropped on me. I have people coming over tomorrow, and the house looks like a nuclear bomb hit it. So I have to wipe down all the counters, get the dishes in the dishwasher, and everything. All right, what is this? And I'm, sitting here going, but I had to say something because this was too funny. It's like we're living in an alternate, living in a weird, really weird news time. And this is not a timeline I like, okay? Um, look, again, the article is clickbait, okay? The article is clickbait. Everybody that is a normal human being hated TLJ. When someone says they liked it, they're either too young and too stupid to understand that it's shitty. The shitty whatever. God, I can't even remember what I was going to say there. God, I can't even remember what I was going to say. But this is coming out in Empire Magazine. I am going to read it, so you guys don't have to. I will report. Hey, James, how you doing, man? One of my old friends from the Craig Johnson reviews for you era, and I wish we still had him around because I think a lot of people would be not as strident about what they think is going on. Okay. But we got this thing coming out with Rian Johnson. I had to say something. This is like clown world. We've got, Doomcock reporting, Indy's gonna die. They filmed all kinds of different scenes. No, they didn't. They didn't. I have a connection to somebody who's in the movie, so I kind of know without knowing and I don't want to know the plot. But I do know that Harrison Ford very much took control of what was going on. Okay? So when people, look, Kathy Kennedy, all you have to do is shake her face at people and they all freak out. Stop being triggered by that cunt. Stop it. Okay? It makes you look stupid. And of course it's for clickbait. But when I look at the way people behave, it's like, does she hide under your bed and yell boo at night at you? It's like, she's done. Again, people don't go on 40-day vacations. 40 fucking days. Away from a position that she has. If something hasn't happened. Okay, we're just gonna go for 40 days. It's like, it's just that this, and you've got that, and you've got Bob Chapek getting his contract extended. Now, granted, you can't just go in and start dropping nuclear bombs on people. And Disney isn't, his position at Disney is not the same as David Zaslav's. So people say, I wish, and I do that too. I do wish somebody had come in and bought Disney and then started doing this. Like I wish Zaslav would have bought Disney. Thanks, Andrew. I really do. Because we would be looking at Kennedy in past tense. Bye. She would have been gone a long time ago. And so would Kevin Feige. Or Kevin Feige would be in the hovering position like Walter Hamada is right now. Okay. But Kathy would be gone. He would be like, no, you gotta go. Get the fuck out of here. Okay. But I think that Cameron is right and WDW Pro are right that she's being allowed to leave with her well of dignity. Everybody can pretend she was such a success. Everybody sit over in the corner and think about that. All right, think about that. Do you honestly believe anybody in Hollywood who saw this happening thinks she is a success? No, she's not. And we've got her little underlings, Rian Johnson retaliating against John Boyega for basically saying, and you're right, David, basically saying what the fans have been saying for 10 years. Anyway, I gotta go. Okay, because I'm tired and I gotta get this stuff done before I go to bed. No, she's not even a good producer. Go do yourself a favor and go look at everything that's been successful that her name is on. You'll see names of Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, Clint Eastwood, Martin Scorsese, and Robert Zemeckis, who happens to be a friend of a friend of, who happens to be married to a friend of mine. Okay, and I don't talk about any of this stuff with her. Okay, this is purely me being catty right now. Okay, and not really catty, but tired of this shit. And okay, so she was the right hand of Spielberg, and she didn't do a very good job, and he said so. This is Steph, signing out. See you around the galaxy.